My heart is so cold, my energy is contagious. All the pain, I can't take it. I'm staying grounded and graceful, cause I know everything that I've been through only made me count my blessings daily. Yeah, they've been acting shady, but I don't take it personal. The memories fading, I'm enjoying the moment. I've been smelling the roses, taking time to reflect, stepping back, the truth unfolding, unfolding. Got nothing to prove, cause I'm about to blow. I've been in the booth, speaking through my soul. You know that I'm true, either way it go, either way it goes. I cannot turn cold, staying on the low. I've been protecting my soul. If your intentions are not pure, I can't let you get too close, cause I'm vibrating high. Ain't got time for your ego, these niggas quit to turn me back. Acting like the amigos, he never cared in the shows. Wasn't with you at your lows, assuming that you gonna fold. But baby, I've been growing ever since I let you go. And I've been doing better, and I know that hurts to know. Hurts to know. Only good vibes around me, and that's for sure. Only good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes. Can't lie. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. You see me searching for my inner peace. I've been learning more about myself and my purpose. Truth always comes to the surface, was hurting, but I had to heal, releasing all the pain that I always held. Been going through some changes, I make it feel, protecting my soul and keep it real. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes. Can't lie. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes.
Control.
Vibes, yeah. Only good vibes, only good
And that's it. That's it. Round of applause for Aya the Light. Aya the Light. Round of applause. Thank you for a good vibes song there. Thank you. Now, welcome everyone. Please let me know if you hear me. I cannot hear myself. Welcome. Look, I'll tell you right from the jump, I'm not feeling well. So that's what's happening. But I wanted to come on anyway and welcome everyone in and go over a few things and allow you to chat with each other. And we have a lot to go through. Thank you for the sound check. Okay. Welcome in Nobody Nothing. All right. And Judy Hathaway says 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 showtime. Hello all. And hello Jojo. Tracy Fleetwood. Fur Baby Daddy. Oh, he's reminding you to hit the likes. Please hit the likes as you come in. And if you're just lurking, please join the chat. It's nice in the chat. It's no one bites. Okay. Amy, welcome in. Welcome in. It's a new day. Granny D. Welcome in, everyone. All right. I see you guys. Welcome in, Frenchie 6290. All right. Bobby Smith. Lisa, welcome in. Hey, Shay Watson says, holy cow. Holy cow. Is it really Friday? Yes. Yes. It is Friday. All right. Tracy Fleetwood brought the hats. Welcome in, Rebecca Ann 1965. Miss Rebecca Ann. Welcome in. Yeah, you guys hit the like and whatever. You know, say hello if you're in the lurker crew. Say hello to everybody in the chat. Don't be awkward. Come on. Rick H in New Zealand. What's up? Nope, it's Saturday in the deep South Hemisphere, that is. Happy Saturday, 3 p.m. Hopefully you have some bright sunshine and a beautiful Saturday. Lisa says, what's up? Bobby Smith says, what's up? In Vegas. All right, party people, it's 2 a.m. What? 2 a.m.? There's no way. All right, Nancy Drew 101. What's up, Nancy Drew? All right, so that's everyone, I believe. I didn't miss anyone. Oh, we got some more here. Oh, hold on. We got Nancy Drew says, what's up is a God thing. Is a God thing here? Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay. Welcome in. And who else we got here? Rick H says, Auckland had another shooting. Oh, no. It's turning into United States of America. Welcome. All right. It's a God thing says, good to see you, Amy. We missed you. All right. Frenchie says, good evening. CSM 8119, Kathy Robertson. All right. Welcome in, everyone. You just finished grocery shopping. What do you like, Frenchie? City Market or the Safeways or Kroger or Albertsons or Walmart? What's your deal, Frenchie? Come on, I'm picking your brain. All right, you guys. Hello, Fur Baby Daddy Nancy Drew. It's 2 a.m. in Las Vegas. It's not 2 a.m. in Las Vegas. There's no way. It has to be 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. something like that. Oh, he says Kroger and Safeway. Yeah, there you go. Who is intending a merger? Have you guys heard about the long intended merger between Kroger and Albertsons or Safeway? Something I don't think is too good. I don't think it's too good. I like Kroger's. Let's keep them separate. Let's keep them separate. Farmers market for me, says Rebecca. All right, guys. So look. So here's what we got today. Oh, Lisa, really? Farm for you. Can I just move out to wherever you are? I mean, I would love to not do the mass-produced grocery store produce department. No one knows the time inside a casino. Well, it's true. It's true. Okay, you still miss Kmart. Okay, it's time to stop living in the past. All right, so here's what we're going to do today. It's not too pleasant. Okay, it's really not too pleasant, but here's the deal. Okay. Yeah, exactly, Frenchie. So yeah, Safeway merged with Albertsons a few years ago, and now Kroger and Safeway are merging, or they're wanting to, which I don't like. So we'll see what happens. All right. Kroger's needs some help. It looks like it's going out of business every time I shop bare shelves. Really? Wow. Ours are the best here. Okay. So okay, so back to what we're going to take a look at tonight. Well, let me begin with this. Everyone has their prejudices. Everyone sees what they want to see. You know how it goes. And your favorite troll farm creators are going into these filings and transcripts and documents, and they're pulling out uh, points to gaslight you with. Um, things that they are trying to use to imply things about the Delphi murders. And it seems as if they don't understand that there's a difference between doing that and sorry, I had to sneeze. It's as if they don't understand that there's a difference between going in and fishing out certain suggestive statements uh, and then trying to present those as being some sort of earth-shattering evidence about these crimes here. Um, well, there's a difference between that and actual matter of factual. Okay. And so tonight I'm going to try to shine a little light on some things that they won't show you, because they're going to show you things like Rick Allen uh, asked his wife if she loves him. Show you things like Rick Allen found God. Let's see. Rick Allen um, included in the 61 uh, confessions, quote unquote, some of which included facts that were alleged as I regret molesting the girls, and I regret shooting the girls. Okay, but they're going to ignore those statements, and they're going to point towards statements like uh, Harshman alluding to the fact that there were some things in the midst of all of that he said that could have suggested some sort of uh, possible knowledge of the crime scene. So again, nothing direct, nothing absolute, nothing totally inculpatory. No, 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 no. Just very tenuous, scattered uh, innuendo, suggestive type of allusions. Just, I mean, gosh, come on. You guys get what I'm saying here? So I figured, hey, let's not do that. Let's do the opposite of that, because there's no reason to go and point all of those instances out. I'm sure if you're surveying the uh, the streets here in the YouTube and Facebook world, you're seeing a lot of that from these people. Um, but let's look at some things that are pretty much clear as day, okay? Because that's what we should be doing. Okay, so give me a moment here. And I'm sorry, if you can't read this, I'm going to do it for you. So don't pay attention to what's on the screen. Okay. Okay, so start with this one. You know what? I've changed my mind. I apologize. Let's start with this one. What did you ultimately conclude about the crime scene? In my opinion, this was a textbook ritual murder. It has all of the elements that are listed there. And when I talk about indicators, like for example, when you're doing fingerprint analysis, you need like 12 to 15 matches to have a good indicator. This has numerous indicators of the type of things you have at a ritual murder. Okay, is that nebulous, ladies and gentlemen? Is that suggestive, tenuous, alluding, insinuating, or is that a direct statement? Okay. On Dr. Dawn Perlmutter, the next page is detailing law enforcement courses, development instructions. Tell the judge a little bit about generally what you do involving instruction. I train local, state, and federal law enforcement agents, analysts, across every branch of government. Going through some of those, ritual homicide investigation, is that a course you have taught? Yes. That's a training I've done for over 20 years, and that is, again, case studies of numerous different types of ritual homicides, and what to look for, and how they proceed through different process, and that kind of thing. And you still teach that today? Yes. Okay. And did you say to whom you teach that to? Yes, local, state, and federal officers. What federal officers, agencies? Again, Homeland Security, sometimes DEA, FBI, different agencies. Okay. Is anything about that ambiguous? So here you have an expert who trains local, state, and federal law enforcement agents. Homeland Security, FBI, for 20 years. I don't think that's ambiguous. Okay. So this is a crime scene photo. What about this crime scene photo causes you to believe that it applies to a number one place of death that is determined uh, it's a ritualistic murder? The aerial view really shows in a lot of these cases, remember 20 years of case studies, that it's almost like a clearing. And in this case, it's surrounded by trees. And during these rituals, they have to separate designated sacred space from like profane secular space. That's so they need a clearing uh, to where they do it. And this being near a body of water is very, very common too. Okay, I mean, it's significant to you where the circle is, that there's a space there. Answer: I put the circle in because it's typically referred to as casting the circle. When they, and even neo-pagans, when they do it, they separate, they're sanctifying the space for the ritual. You know, it might not be a perfect circle, but the fact that it was a clearing and they're not like, at near relatively close to the water. So that is considered a strong indicator or just an indicator? It's a strong indicator. The only holidays that fall between February 13th and 14th, so we just covered place. Okay, so now we're going to cover time. Pay attention. February 13th and 14th is one, and there weren't any celestial events or anything at the time. It's called Valisblot. It's an Odin holiday for the son of Odin, Vali. And it actually is a sacrificial holiday. The thing with the Nordic holidays is they're from sundown to sundown. So even though it's on the 14th, it starts on the 13th at sundown. So the fact that these crimes occurred on the 13th and 14th is because of Valisblot. That what does that tell you? I mean, I think it's kind of obvious, but what does it tell you? Well, the dates can be, they're not as strong an indicator. It's just another thing to look at, that it's a specific Odinist holiday. There are other dates like Saman and Beltane. There's ones that are very specific to other groups, but none of the other ones fall in this area. So it's a strong indicator, at least in this case. It's one indicator, yes. All right, the next is cause of death, sharp force injuries to the neck. Do you have, let's talk, tell why the cause of death in this case is an indicator, forensic indicator, that this was a ritualistic murder scene. Answer. Because with sacrificial, and there's different types, like I've said before, there are different types of ritual murders. So they're done for different reasons. So for example, there's exorcisms that can be done with fire. I've had a case where a little girl was burned to death in an exorcism. You have other cases where the bodies are dismembered for different reasons. And look at the bottom in the highlighted section here. But the specific slitting of the throat is indicative of a sacrificial offering or initiation type. Okay, so an exhibit is offered. I want you to review that and just tell me what significance that is. The significance of this is the person discussing on their post how they had put a mark on their body. It was a gebo or gibo rune, and felt like different things were happening in their life, that it wasn't the gifts of the gods were giving him both positive and negative. He felt that he had to add another rune to it, which he did. The Isa rune over top, creating the bind rune. And then literally at the end of the post, as you know, repeating Isa rune, Isa Gibo, and then he continues the words Isabo. Isabo? This is indicative of somebody who's thinking magically. They are indicating that they believe the mark they had put on was having certain things happen in their life, and that they added the second rune to control aspects of their life. So this clearly indicates somebody who believes in this type of rune magic. For the record, that's a Facebook posting from Brad Holder. Is that correct? Yes. And this is the close-up version of that hand, the marking on his hand. Is that correct? Yes. Again, you talked a little bit a second ago about why that is significant to this compared to the stick arrangement found on the body. It's identical to it. Identical. It's somebody who it's the exact same configuration. Is there any way that it's a counter forensic activity that these three sticks found on this young woman? No, it would be, they're not hiding the body at all. It would not work. It doesn't function that way at all. And there were other indicators in what I reviewed of a number of runes being done in the sticks. There were a number of social media photos of the scene, not just the marking, but sticks in the shape of runes. So there was rune magic being done in branches in the woods. They were specifically arranged into bind runes. They were done in wooded areas, and that was prior to the homicide. Okay, see what the next, still on the symbolism at the crime scene, I wanted to look at the way that Liberty German's body was displayed. Looking at the stick arrangement on Liberty German's body, does this tell you something about this forensic identifier symbolism at the crime scene? That had specific meaning to the offender. In my opinion, it's intentional. The branches were placed in a very specific way. It's obviously not a counter forensic measure because she's completely exposed. It could also, when interpreting this, it could be a combination of the positioning of her body, which could be considered one type of symbol. The branches on top could be another. There's a lot of it. It had, the important thing is that it had a specific meaning to the offender, and it wasn't trying to hide the body. Okay, once again, would this hide a body, in your opinion? Would this hide a body, in your opinion? Once again, I want you to look at this and look at this. Look at this and look at this. Look at this. Look at it. Question, ladies and gentlemen. Can you see the bodies? Sorry about the dog. I was asking, can you see the bodies? Understanding that that's a painting, and what it really looked like was this. And this. Okay. The significance is that the stronger. Okay, let me back up. So, this was a crime scene photo. What is the significance of this as it relates to a forensic indicator? The significance is that the stronger significance is that it's in the victim's blood and that it's a marking on the tree near the scene. In my opinion, it's an intentional mark. It's not like an obvious symbol, again, under Satanism or other types. It appears to be consistent with ancient alphabets that are used quite a lot at these scenes. Sometimes you get Enochian or Eden or Arabic or Hebrew. You get a lot of different ancient alphabets that they believe imbues it magically. This is most consistent with runes. And again, with runes, they are depicted a number of different ways online and historically. So they're stylized, there's different fonts. But that's what this appears to be. It's an intentional mark, and the significant thing is that, which is very consistent with ritual murders, is that it's the victim's blood is being used to create a symbol, which gives it magical efficacy. It gives it more power to what the person's doing or thinking. I think you read the blood spatter report, and they don't view this as intentional. They view it as something else. I'm not a blood spatter expert. I've taken some training in it, but this to me is an absolute intentional mark. Do you know or are you aware of whether there is any human sacrifice in Odinism? There's literature that shows different cases of sacrifice every 9 years. And there's different references to it in some of the writings and literature. Hang on a second. If the BAU or the prosecution were to claim that what was going on there at the crime scene was called an undoing, would you agree with that assessment? No. An undoing is, from the behavioral analysis, is a symbolic reversal of a crime. It's when a person feels remorse or guilt, and they will either, position the body so that they look like they're sleeping, or they will cover the body with a blanket. They're not doing, they're staging, but they're not doing it as a counter forensic measure. They're doing it out of the remorse they feel. So, with the way they're so displayed, with undoing, you're trying to give the person a sort of dignity in death. There is no dignity in the way these girls were positioned. The only thing that might have some relevance is redressing does occur. Dressing the body is an undoing behavior. And it's usually done by someone who's familiar, knows the person, a family member, or, something like that. Again, Dressing the body is an undoing behavior, and it's usually done by someone familiar, who knows the person, a family member, or something like that. So, in that one aspect, it would possibly be an undoing. One is a psychological concept, the other, in my opinion, it's a ritual, and it was done for ritual purposes, not as a counterforensic measure and not as a form of remorse. Okay, any doubt in your mind that this was a ritualistic killing? None at all. The symbols that you talk about seeing at the crime scene, and I'm trying to wrap my head around this, but when you go in to participate and examine a crime scene, do you go into it with the mindset of, okay, I'm specifically looking for what symbols I recognize? No, not at all. I go in with an open mind to see if it's a symbol at all. And if it's, or what, I go in very open minded. Okay. If someone were to give you a picture of a symbol before you looked at the crime scene to say, I'm trying to equate this to looking at cloud formations, says Nick McClelland. You see what he's trying to do? Okay. Nick McClelland is trying to say that she's seeing cloud formations in these sticks. Do you understand what you're dealing with? Cloud formations. Cloud formations. Cloud formations. If somebody, if I go outside and they say, oh, look, I see a train in that cloud, it's hard for me to unsee that. If somebody gives you a picture of a symbol before you look at a crime scene and says, hey, I'm looking for this symbol, do you see it in this crime scene? Do you think that affects the way you look at the crime scene? No. You're able to separate that. It's actually part of the methodology. It's called bracketing. You have to bracket it out. It's something that you train to do. So she's seeing clouds. She's seeing clouds in these sticks. The symbols that you talk about seeing at the crime scene. Oh, let's see. We've already done that one. Okay. There we go. And you're confident they weren't for any kind of countermeasure to cover up the bodies. Absolutely confident. They're not covering the bodies. They're absolutely not working that way. They're not functioning that way. But if the crime scene's personalized to the individual, how can you make that assumption that they weren't put there to cover bodies? Because the bodies aren't covered. Not completely covered, right? But there's some coverage, just minimal, that I think is just so obviously not done to cover the bodies if they're not covered. Is that what you're basing your opinion on, that they're not for countermeasures, but they don't completely cover the body? Yes. And so therefore they must be symbols. No, no, no. Not therefore it has to be symbols. It was it was a ritual act, in my opinion. It was a ritual that was done that had meaning to the offender. There were a lot of ways in that scene that they could have covered the bodies with leaves and things. That's not what was done. They were arranged in a very specific manner. Again, this is not covering bodies with sticks. take a look at that, at each girl. See how much of the girl you can see. And now take a look at the actual sticks that were placed on their bodies. And again, back to the rendering. This is not covering anything. They're not covered. Okay, let's move on. Would it be unusual for a racist Odinist to kill somebody that they don't classify as a minority or part of the race traitor? These again, they splintered from violent gangs. So there can just be reasons. Because they didn't participate in some organized crimes or whatever criminal activity they were involved in. They could be related to somebody that they're retaliating against. The motivation can be the combination of those things. Let's read that again. In the highlighted portion here, they could be related to someone that they're, retaliating against. There, it can be that way too. It can be, the motivation can be the combination of those things. Okay. In my opinion, this was a textbook ritual murder. It has all of the elements that are listed there. And when I talk about indicators, like for example, when you're doing fingerprint analysis, you need 12 to 15 matches to have a good indicator. This has numerous indicators of the types of things that you have at a ritual murder. Okay, so once again, Perlmutter, FBI, law enforcement, Homeland Security, DEA, etc. 20 years of teaching and case studies. Now, in closing this part of the presentation, I would like for you to hear from someone handpicked by your and my favorite judge, Mr. Labredo. Let's hear what he has to say about his brief time with Discovery and on this case being handpicked by Francis Gall.
You had not heard of Odinism when it first was floated with regard to this case?
I honestly thought, I was like, no disrespect to Mr. Baldwin and Mr. Rosie, because they're excellent lawyers. I thought it was hocus pocus. I honestly didn't. I'd never heard of it. And the more I got into it, that's a real thing. It is a real thing, and it's scary.
In what way?
Well, I believe they sacrificed a girl and killed another one. Some of the people that live in Delphi were very brazen about their Odinistic beliefs on their Facebook pages and I believe they sacrificed a girl and killed another one. Some of the people that live in Delphi were very brazen about their Odinistic beliefs on their Facebook.
Now, I don't know if you paid attention very closely to the beginning of that little segment. Remembering that he was appointed by Gall, he says he went in as a skeptic, thinking it was all hocus pocus. And what did he say at the end of that segment? How about one more time for the people in the back who want to pretend that law enforcement did not...
You had not heard of Odinism?
Sorry. People pretending that law enforcement, by that I mean Todd, Click, Ferenczi, and Murphy. For those who think law enforcement did not come up with these ideas and want to pretend that Baldwin and Rosie fantasy world manifested this type of stuff.
You had not heard of Odinism when it first was floated with regard to this case?
I honestly thought, I was like, no disrespect to Mr. Baldwin and Mr. Rosie, because they're excellent lawyers. I thought it was hocus pocus. I honestly didn't. I'd never heard of it. And the more I got into it, that's a real thing. It is a real thing, and it's scary.
In what way?
Well, I believe they sacrificed a girl and killed another one. Some of the people that live in Delphi were very brazen about their Odinistic beliefs on their Facebook pages and up.
You had not...
Good point, Bobby Smith. Good point. They. Bobby Smith picked up on that. He said they. He said, I believe they. So that's available. You can seek that out. I don't have to play it here for you. On the screen. Please seek that out if you want to watch it yourself. That's Barbara McDonald and former defense attorney for Richard Allen, Libredo. So seek it out if you want to hear the full interview. It's very actually compelling to listen to more. That's just the short segment I wanted to play here for you to wrap this up. What I have said about this is right angles. This image you're seeing here. How does a victim stumbling around with bloody hands accidentally make this marking? Okay. How does a solo lone wolf killer accidentally do this with sticks in trying to cover up girls who are not covered up? Right angles. I put these two separately because it's my belief that this very large branch that I'm toggling in and out of the screen here, that very large branch, I don't believe is a part of the formation. I believe it's solely there to weigh down and hold the arm in position, in an upward position. You see? So see, do you see bodies covered with sticks? And do you see a lone wolf killer randomly, accidentally, in an attempt to cover bodies with sticks, which he totally fails to do, making these very distinct formations? The idea that a lone wolf killer trying to hide the bodies made these perfect right angles and these perfect formations that just happened to match bind runes, and that the victim stumbling around and bleeding grabbed onto this tree and accidentally made these perfect right angles. I don't think it's very believable. I think it's less believable than the fact that a group of people could have done this intentionally. I mean, am I the only one here who's somewhat sane? I mean, I don't know. You have Dr. Perlmutter here who says she's done case studies for 20 years, training local, state, and federal law enforcement agents in every branch of government, teaching ritual homicide investigation, has been training for 20 years Homeland Security, FBI, DEA, local, state, and federal. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, that's my brief Friday presentation for you. Just the tip of an iceberg that we will be exploring. I'll put the link up if anyone has any commentary, but we'll keep it short tonight. I am feeling not so well, and so I want to get. I'm sorry about that. I want to get some rest tonight, so I'll be cutting it short. But if anybody has any comments, you're welcome to join the StreamYard link here. Thank you, everyone. I know I wasn't really reading the chat while I was going through that stuff, but those are just some highlights that I took from Dr. Dawn Perlmutter. And like I started off saying, I'd like you to compare that quality of declaration with the assumptions, smear tactics, hypotheses, allusions, insinuations, broad leaps in logic that some people are telling you in attempt to prop up Nicholas McClellan in this case. Exactly, Rick. The first attempt they made was to allude and suggest the fact that sticks had fallen in that manner on the girls. Well, when they saw that wasn't going to work, they kind of let that one go. So then it turned into he's trying to hide the bodies, even though the bodies are completely exposed. um, and like I said, same with the confessions. I mean, if you were to give 61 imp- implicating statements under duress, what are the odds that you would hit on a few facts that might be pertinent, like the girls' throats were cut? Oh, maybe you got that one right, but you got the bullet in each girl wrong, and you got the sexual assault wrong. Or maybe you said that clothing was removed from the girls. Like, I don't know, is it that's kind of matches the crime scene, at least to one of the girls, and you would hypothesize that the other one at some point had her clothing removed. So I mean, what are the odds that you give 61 statements that some are bound to hit? But I don't know. I suggesting that asking if your wife is going to still love you no matter what because you're in jail. Do you think that that means he murdered as a lone wolf killer these two girls? So I think it's very telling that Ives in the earliest days said non secular elements to the crime scene. Because, yeah, I would say so. I would say there are some non secular elements to the crime scene. Remembering that he was the prosecutor, okay? When you look at this, okay, if these are just sticks trying to cover the body, how do these become non secular? Okay? So let me ask you this. According to the current gaslighting from the state and the YouTubers, what's non secular if all of this is just an attempt to hide the bodies? And if this right here is a hand smear on the tree, if this is a hand smear from Liberty German, and if this here, these types of things are just a random attempt by a lone wolf killer to cover the bodies, what's non secular? Is there anything left that's non secular? I mean, so now not only do we have to believe that our own eyes are lying to us, now we have to believe that Ives was also lying to us. Okay, so now Ives becomes another victim of the attempt to cover this murder up. Now Ives was lying when he said there were non-secular elements to the crime scene. There's no way he can deny saying it. It's on video, and I have the video. He also said it's the type of thing you would assume would have been solved in a week or two in the 70s. Yeah. But yes, Robert Ives said there were non secular elements. Well, yeah. What would be non secular if those sticks are just placed to cover the bodies? And if this positioning of the bodies are just randomly the way they fell? And if this is just the smear of the victim's blood by her own hand when she grabbed the tree? I mean, what would be non secular? Ives, nothing. So now there's no non secular? I mean, you got to rectify that, Troll Farm. So either McClellan is bullshitting us now, or Ives was bullshitting us then. So who are we going to believe here? Our own eyes and Ives? Or not our own eyes, not our own brains, not our own hearts, and not Ives? Just so that we can prop up McClellan? Yeah, Radar. Good point there. And that you'd want to take a picture of, something you'd want to take a picture of. Well, this scene you're looking at right here by True Crime Design, it kind of is. It kind of is a scene, right? It's theatrical. Look at this. Who does not believe that this is theatrical? So, happy Friday to you, ladies and gentlemen. Friday, September 6th. I wish all of you a really great weekend. Um, I appreciate the fact that you're here, and I wish I was feeling a little better for you. Um, but yeah, it's odd, isn't it? What's up, Kevin? He also said it was the oddest crime scene he's ever witnessed. It was 4 or 5 staged elements. Yeah, it does indeed look intentional. So I don't know what's going on here. You wouldn't believe it that people would go so far. And that's the thing, y'all, is that there's going to be experts, quote unquote, on both sides, right? So you're going to have a cop who's going to get up there and tell you that this is not intentional. These are not runic type formations. This is not Odinistic at all. There's no staging of the bodies. There's accidentally blood spatter on a tree. They're gonna parade cops up there to say all kind of things, and then here's gonna come the defense. The defense is gonna come and they're gonna say, hey, wait, hold up. We have Dr. Don Perlmutter, among others, who have a different opinion and counter that. And that's going to be for every element. Every element. Uh, so the only way that our prosecutor can possibly be successful in this prosecution is that the judge set up a perfect play for him. Muzzle, limit, and railroad this defense at every turn. It's unbelievable. He's had to there's no I mean, the bottom line is they know there's no way whatsoever to get a conviction unless this happens, and looks like it's happening. I mean, I'd say we're 85% of the way there. It's really unbelievable what she's just pulled. It's really unbelievable. When you yourself can see that those stick formations are intentional, those are shapes, okay? Those sticks are in shapes. They're not randomly thrown on the top of bodies to hide them, because they don't hide the bodies. There's right angles. The blood on the tree has right angles. There's geometry to the sticks on Abby. The bodies are positioned very bizarrely. Where's the geofencing? Oh, right. We can't even present geofencing that shows that there are 3 persons in the vicinity of this crime scene at the time you say the girls are there. Well, guess what? The jurors at this point in time will be able to see the crime scene photos. Those jurors will see the actual crime scene photos, not just this rendering here and this stuff, okay? The jurors will see the sticks not covering the bodies of the girls. So now, did he know about Odinism and bind runes, or at least know enough to say, hey, before I leave this crime scene, I'm going to stack these sticks to try to set up the Odinist? I mean, that would be much better for the prosecutor to try to argue, is that instead of total gaslighting, saying no, these sticks are randomly thrown upon the girls to cover their bodies, he he should have taken a more reasonable approach to say, no, Richard was trying to set up some Odinist. That'd be more believable. That's just insane. And to claim there's no nexus between anything like Odinism and this crime, I mean, dude, you have an expert trainer, PhD, for the Department of Homeland Security, FBI, DEA, local, state, federal, 20 years, hundreds of case studies, on this exact thing who says it's absolutely something like this. Okay. I mean, there's nexi. Okay, there's nexi. This is the nexus. I mean, do you see what I'm saying here? Like the nexus to Odinism or something like it is this right here you're looking at. These are the nexi. But hey, guys, we're all conspiracy theorists. Oh, just to get back to this and reinforce one point she made or brought up. She said that the girl who's dressed, you might expect that there's someone who's a family member or someone related or someone who has some sort of remorse. That the girls who's dressed, there may be some sort of remorse or guilt for that girl who's dressed. She also said that could be rivalry here. Remember the statement? Let's bring that one back up before I leave. She said, let's find that portion. This is it's gonna be, let's see, maybe this one. Would it be unusual for a racist Odinist to kill somebody that they don't classify as a minority or part of the race traders? These again, they splintered from violent gangs. So there can be just reasons because they didn't participate in some organized crimes or whatever criminal activity they were involved in. They could be related to someone, they're retaliating against. Derek German. Motivation could be a combination of these. But let's see. Let's see here. Organized crime, criminal activity related to someone they're retaliating against. Doesn't that sound familiar, Derek German? Kerry Timmons, what, will you tell the truth? Hey man, I got nothing to lose here. I got no dog in the fight. I'm just a guy on the internet who cares about what may have happened to these girls. And I know there's stuff that don't make sense. Okay? Those of you who have followed this for many, many years, you know there's so much that doesn't make sense. There's more than we can cover in a single talk show. Think of every single contradiction, every single coincidence, every single lie, every single dead body. you think of every single problem with this case from day one, and you know there's a long list. I mean, many of you in this chat are experts in the long list of anomalies with this case, in all the contradictions, in all the coincidences. I mean, that I've said before when I had my Discord and half of you lovely people were in it. Remember, we had a section called coincidences because there's so many coincidences in this case. You cannot make shit up. So, what do you do when you have a community who's afraid, who's keeping secrets, and who's lying about the murder of two of its children? See, they try to twist the reality here of who we are and what we say and what we feel. But the truth is, we don't hate anyone here. There's no hate here. We hate liars. We hate to be lied to. We hate to be gaslit. We hate to be called crazy, conspiracy theorist. We hate to be told we can't trust our own eyes, ears, and hearts. That's what we don't like. It's not any people. You'd never lie, never call us crazy, make us think that our minds are playing tricks on us because the story changes 15 times in 7 years. We'd have never said a thing. So, yeah, by the way, in our list of witnesses, you notice anyone missing? Where are the searchers who allegedly found the girls? Where's the medical examiner? Where are all the people who were at Ron Logan's that night before and that night? Where's Kay Weber? Where's Daniel Pearson? Where's Cheyenne and Shelby? Matter of fact, where's the family members? You could call 72 witnesses and probably still need some more. See, ladies and gentlemen, they can't tell the whole story because it wouldn't work. To railroad in this manner, you have to tell a specific story. which is the story you're trying to fabricate. The narrative you're trying to spin is very limited in scope. So you can't have all those witnesses, everyone who was there, everyone who saw this, did that, said this, saw this, received this text, didn't receive this text. You can't have the family cell phones. You actually can't have anything that would establish a proper timeline. Because if you had all that, couldn't get a prosecution, it wouldn't work. Your narrative would not work. Sorry, guys. I'm giving you my opinion. And only because if it was me or my son, my father, my mother, my friend, I would want it to be done that way. If I was sitting in that cell, I'd want the family cell phones to establish a proper timeline. I'd want every witness out there. I'd want anyone who had communicated with the girls in 24, 48 hours prior. I'd want the neighbors. Yes, I'd want the whole story to be told if I was sitting in there. Some of you have some reflecting to do. You have to put yourself in these shoes and really think about it. If it was you sitting in that cell, or your best friend, or your loved ones, what would you want? Good point, Dean Johnson. Did anyone at all, and I mean at all, see the girls out there that day? I'm not saying if you saw someone you believe could have been the girls, allegedly, suggestively, and insinuatingly. No, no, no. Did anyone actually see the girls out there that day? Oh yeah, who? Did anyone talk to them the 48 hours prior and arrange a meetup? I don't know. Who? Where's the person that heard the scream at 2:30 a.m. or whatever? Come on, man. Where's everyone around this case? Who found the bodies? What did they first see? Where did they find the girls at first? Where's John Weaver? Where is John Weaver on our witness list to answer for why it's alleged in the scanner audio that he saw the girls in the water, or referenced the girls being in the water? Where's that? Where's he? Jake Johns? Where's our fire chief who walked over that area multiple times and the girls weren't there? Where's he? Where's Eric Williams? I mean, where are the people who were actually involved in this entire scenario in the 72 hours bookending this incident? So, seems like at least some of them should be deposed, should be called as witnesses. Seems like we should have some way to establish a timeline, doesn't it? How do we get a 43-second video from the high school to the bridge? There's so much meth in this town that the water supply is completely inundated. And so they all must be tweaking, twacking 24/7 to be able to go with this and not ask these simple questions. If it were your daughter, what would you want? Were those girls geofencing and wandering over to Wilson Bridge to check the geofence? I'm sorry, geofencing. God, we've been obsessing over that so much that geocaching. Were those girls geocaching and walked over to Wilson Bridge to check the geocache in the woods over there? And then we had all the disinformation, misinformation, the false POIs, and all the rumors about geocaching, and Kelsey with the geocaching, and James Renner, blah 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 blah. Come on, y'all. Something got to give. Thank you so much for hitting the like, joining the chat. If you're a member, thanks for being a member. Anyone who's ever sent a buy me a coffee, super chat, any of that, thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for being here and being so nice and communicating with each other. Thanks for caring about this case and the girls. Thanks for sitting here, listening to me, participating with me, even if I don't feel so well. Thank you for being here. Excuse me. Yeah, I've heard the same thing. That searcher list is incomplete because some people didn't sign in. But thank you for to everyone for at least being here. I know it's a Friday night. You could be partying elsewhere, whatever. But thanks for always coming around. And I will feel better soon. And I have some things planned, and we'll see if they come to fruition. I hope so. So I hope to do some interesting things very, very soon. Um, yeah, thank you guys for chatting. I'll go out here. I'll leave with yeah, good point, Radar. Why wasn't there an official search on the 13th? Why wasn't there a Amber Alert? I mean, you didn't want no one looking for the girls. That's why you had to turn everyone away. I mean, said many times before, you would have gone down that trail to Ron Logan's. You would have damn near stepped right over those girls. Any person with a modicum of sanity, any man, grown ass man, worried about two little girls who's going check near the high bridge would naturally go on the only other fucking trail right there. And they would have walked down to Ron Logan's and found those girls. So why didn't they? Yeah, exactly. 6 witnesses allegedly saw bridge guy, quote unquote, who looked 20 years old, by the way. Um, None of them went to CVS in 6 years and said, "Hey, that's the guy." No one saw the way he walked in that small town. No one saw the way he walked and said, "Hey, that's that guy at CVS or Walmart. That's Richard." Well, but you got your favorite YouTubers who are using Photoshop and they're pasting his face on actual murderers and they're making it look like he's 100% the lone wolf killer of Abby and Libby. So this whole thing goes away. But hey, guys, I have a question for you. What are you gonna do with your YouTube channels when he's a lone wolf killer and this whole case goes away and your whole fucking past 5 years has been nothing but Delphi? You might want to reevaluate that decision to gaslight the public and to make him your lone wolf killer, make this case go away. I mean, who's going to pay you when you go away? Or do you have some pre-made agreement that these people are going to keep paying you for the next 10, 15 years for the hard work you've done the past 5? Just asking for a friend. Yep. So, hey, cheers, y'all. Have a good weekend. Like I said, hopefully I'll see you very soon. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much again. Oh, let me play this on the way out.
Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes. Can't lie. Good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Been waiting so patient, I'm going places, can't fake it. My heart is so cold, my energy is contagious. All the pain, I can't take it. I'm staying grounded and graceful, cause I know everything that I've been through only made me count my blessings daily. Yeah, they've been acting shady, but I don't take it personal. The memory's fading, I'm enjoying the moment. I've been smelling the roses, taking time to reflect, stepping back, the truth unfolding, unfolding. Got nothing to prove, cause I'm not the blow. I've been in the booth, speaking to my soul. You know that I'm true, either way it goes, way it goes, either way it goes. I cannot turn cold, staying on the low. I've been protecting my soul. If your intentions are not pure, I can't let you get too close, cause I'm vibrating high. Ain't got time for your ego, these niggas quit to turn their back. Acting like the amigos, he never cared in the shows. Wasn't with you at your lows, assuming that you gonna fold. But baby, I've been growing ever since I let you go. And I've been doing better, and I know that hurts to know. Hurts to know. Only good vibes around me, and that's for sure. Only good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes. Can't lie. Only good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. You see me searching for my inner peace. I've been learning more about myself and my purpose. Truth always come to the surface. Was hurting, but I had to heal. Releasing all the pain that I always held. Been going through some changes, I'll make it still. Protecting my soul to keep it real. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes.
case?
I honestly thought, I was like, no disrespect to Mr. Balkin and Mr. Rosen, because they're excellent lawyers. I thought it was hocus pocus. I honestly didn't. I'd never heard of it. And the more I got into it, that's a real thing. It is a real thing, and it's scary.
In what way?
Well, I believe they sacrificed a girl and killed another one. Some of the people that live in Delphi were very brazen about their Odinistic beliefs on their Facebook pages and